Hi everybody, it's Geordie from Geordie's Cards here for Pawsome Stamps, and I am very excited to be bringing you this really fun Christmas shaker card. It features the Santa Faces stamp set. This is a new 4x6 stamp set which was released back in October, and I just think it's so cute. So you've got these 4 Santa Faces, you've got some stripes there that you can use like candy stripes, so you could definitely stamp them out in red or whatever colour you wanted, green, blue, any Christmassy colours you could think of. And there are some great sentiments in this set as well. I'm going to be using the one that says ho 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 in the large kind of font, which I'm going to colour in with the same reds that I'm using here for my Santa hats. So I've left my colouring in today. It is sped up a little bit. I am using my Copic markers and my favourite red combination, which is R59, R29, R27 and R24. I am going to be using the same combination for all of my Santa hats, and I will do this a couple of times. I will go over each area a couple of times just to make sure that that blend is nice and smooth. I like to use this R59 marker. It is a really deep dark red, but I like to use it because I really think that that depth adds a pop to the colour combination. Okay, next I went a little bit different here. I'm using V22 and V20 to add some shadow to my kind of furry pieces on the hats. So I didn't want to use greys and I didn't really want to use blues, so I decided I would try this kind of violet combination, and I think it worked pretty well. They're kind of like ashy violets, so they've got a bit of grey in them anyway, but I just wanted it to look a little bit different from the colours that I'm going to be using on Santa's beards. And I decided to go with these kind of violet tones, and I think they work really well. As I say, it's just to create a little bit of shadow, so I'm just adding a touch of this colour around the edges where the darkest parts should be. Once that was done, I decided to go into Santa's beards. I'm using N2 and N0 for this, and I'm just adding it in little kind of flicking motions to create the look of hair. Well, that's the idea behind it. That's what I'm hoping for. So again, I'm not colouring in the entire area. I'm just adding these little flicking motions here and there to create that look of hair, but keeping it looking white. I don't want it to look grey. Santa's beard isn't grey, it's white. So I need to make it look white. So this is kind of my method of doing that. For some of the longer areas, I am adding longer strokes in there, as you can see, and I'm trying to follow the line of the hair that would naturally be there, which is not always easy because, hair moves around in different directions, but I tried my best, and, I am definitely not very good at colouring hair, I have to admit. But I did the same for all of my little beards here. And then with this one, which looks like it's a little bit curly, I'm doing something slightly different. I'm adding some kind of like little curls with my markers to create that look of a nice, bushy, curly beard. That was the idea behind it anyway. I do the same when I colour like sheep or anything that's kind of got like a curly look to it. I kind of add little circles, and I think it works okay. So next up I have E11 and E00 to create my skin tones. Goodness, I can't speak. And I'm just going to add a touch of that darker marker in the areas I want to look a little bit darker, like they're in shade. So under the hat, I was going to say helmet then, under the hats and around the base of the nose. And this is pretty quick colouring. I am going back in with that darker marker just to add some shading. And then with R20, I'm filling in their little mouths and adding just a touch of a cheek showing through above their little beards and moustaches there, just to make them look like nice, rosy, jolly Santas. Once that is done, I will pull out my white Sakura Jelly Roll pen here and just add a touch of white highlight detail to all their little caps, just in the kind of lightest areas. There's really not much colouring involved in these little images, and what colouring there is pretty quickly done because you can just colour them all the same, which is what I've done here today. So it goes pretty quickly. If you are looking for kind of like a production line style Christmas card, if like me, you leave your Christmas card making till the last minute, I do it every year. Every year I try. And in fact, last year I did a bit better because I had like a Christmas card thing where I made one every month. But generally I leave it till the last minute. But if you wanted a quick production line style Christmas card, these images would be perfect. You could pop one little face on each card and it would just be awesome. So I coloured in that little sentiment there, as I said. I have gone ahead and cut this kind of 4 square die using some dark green cardstock. And then I have a slightly lighter green cardstock for my background. I've attached some acetate and some foam tape around all of those squares. And I'm just using my powder tool there to get rid of any static. And next up I have the Pawsome Stamps Santa Baby Sequin Mix. This is perfect for this little card here. So it's a mixture of reds, golds, blacks and whites, and it's just perfect for Christmas, and it just worked so well with these little images. So I'm adding a little bit of the sequins into each of those empty squares there that I can fill up with my sequin mix, and now I'm carefully attempting to be careful, trying to remove the liner tape. Now I always struggle with this, and I did end up getting a little sequin stuck there and managed to peel it off, but then got like sticky stuff all over my nail. But it's okay, it all came off. So then I'm just going to attach that lighter green panel onto the back there and try and center it up so that it's all lined up nicely, and I'll give it a bit of a smoosh down, and then I will give it a shake because, you know, you can't resist shaking a shaker. And isn't it, it's just moving perfectly and those colors look amazing. So I'm going to clean up my desk there, and then I'm going to start assembling the front of my card. So I have my little 4 center faces, which I'm going to pop in that order there. And then my little sentiment is going to go right in the center. And I just think it's a really fun, quite a quick and easy shaker card to put together really, but it packs a lot of punch. I am using my mono dot adhesive here to attach my centers down. I find this easier than using liquid glue on acetate because it doesn't get really messy. You can just pop it down and it sticks nicely, and there's no kind of glue seeping out the sides and making a mess of the acetate. So I do prefer to use this when I am using acetate. So I will go ahead, as I say, I'm going to try and center them up in each little square there and make sure that they are kind of the same height and, you know, filling the center of that little aperture there. Once I have them in place, this one was proving tricky with his little kind of curly moustache there, but I got him down in the end. And then all that's left is the sentiment, which I will attach, as I say, to the center. After, of course, I give it another little shake because it's so much fun to play with. So I'm going to attach that down. Then all that's left is to pop it down onto a white card base. I'm just using a standard size 5.5 by 4.25 white cardstock here. And I decided then to pull out the Just Sentiments Christmas stamp set. I have had this one in my stash for a while now. It was released in 2021, I believe. And I'm using that sentiment there. It's such a nice one. It says, wishing you a season of joy, a season of cheer, but most of all, a good year. I think that's it. And I just thought that worked perfectly on the center of my card. And then I can just attach the front panel down with some liquid glue to my card base, and that is it. My card is complete. I really hope that you enjoyed this one today. I had so much fun making it. I really need to get into my Christmas crafting and try and get a few done before Christmas Eve this time. And this is a good way to start. But as I say, if you wanted to do kind of like a production line style, I think these little faces just with a simple inked background would work perfectly. And then one of the sentiments from the stamp set. It would be so easy to churn out a bunch of these cards and they would just look so cool. So that's an idea for you, but do try out this shaker card as well. I think it's so much fun and it would really make somebody smile. And that lovely sentiment on the center there is just perfect to finish it off. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe to our Pawsome Stamps channel. We would love to see you come back and join us again. And if you are interested, there are a couple of other videos here that you might like to watch as well. Take care, everybody. Bye.